Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Caitlin and I post videos about health and fitness, everything from easy healthy recipes to at-home workouts, at-home yoga routines, and just chit-chat videos like this. Today I'm going to be talking about my health / fitness / weight loss journey. I've touched a little bit on this topic in some of my previous videos, my get to know me video as well as my experience with keto. But in this one I just want to go a little bit more in depth because I haven't really talked about losing weight, and I just thought I would put it all out there in one video. Everything I've sort of went through in terms of body confidence and getting into the right mindset with health and fitness. So starting from the very beginning, when I was a kid, I was very active. I played tons of sports growing up. Main one always being hockey, and then I played soccer for a bit, baseball, lacrosse, just so many sports. So I was always doing sports after school, always going to practice, always doing fitness training, things like that. And I was a pretty in shape kid. I was never overweight in elementary school, never really thought I was overweight or anything. The first time I can even remember thinking about my weight or worrying about it at all was in grade 5. So around grade 4 or 5, I had a huge growth spurt. Maybe even before that. I don't know exactly when, but I can remember always being the tallest girl in the class with only 1 or 2 boys taller than me. So I was really tall. And I can remember going to the doctor one time around grade 5 for a checkup and just doing all the regular stuff, getting weighed and measured and whatnot. And the doctor mentioning to me something like, don't worry that you're over 100 pounds. It's just because you're really tall. A lot of the other kids in your class might weigh less than you, but don't worry about your weight. And I was kind of like, I wasn't worrying about it, but should I be? The next thing I can remember in terms of my weight was shortly after that. I don't know exactly the timeline, but I can remember there was a school ski trip. They needed to take everyone's height and weight so that they could have the proper ski equipment rented for everyone. So we were all lined up in the gym, everyone in our grade, and yeah, they were weighing us and measuring us and writing it down. And I can just remember having such anxiety. I didn't want anyone to know how much I weighed. And it wasn't even like they were announcing it to everyone or making a big deal out of it. You literally went up, stepped on the scale, they would just say it to the other person and they'd write it down. So if anything, only the person behind me in line would hear. But yeah, I can just remember being so terrified and not wanting to go up there to be weighed. I can't really remember what actually happened when I went up there. I assume nothing since I can't remember it. Moving forward a bit more, I had a friend in grade 6 who was really mean, and I can remember her sort of indirectly calling me fat a couple of times. Even though looking back, I was so not fat. I was a very healthy weight. I don't know what her problem was. I can remember one time me and my 3 other friends were all going to dress up as each other for Halloween. We thought it would just be really funny, and so we would just all wear each other's clothes. Pretty lame costume, but anyways, when we were sort of discussing this and who would be who, I can remember her saying to me oh, you can be me because I have this pair of pants that are really stretchy and they'll fit you. How rude can you be? Anyways, I didn't really take any of this too much to heart. I can remember it sort of bothering me, but this didn't develop into any sort of eating disorder or anything. I wasn't trying to lose weight. Fast forward a little bit more into high school. Pretty much as soon as high school started, I started caring a lot less about my sport and caring a lot more about partying, drinking, hanging out with my friends. That was my main priority. I wanted to be going to a house party every Friday, every Saturday. So I was drinking a lot and I was eating a lot of junk food. I can remember so many times going to Tim Hortons hungover and getting a breakfast sandwich. Shout out to anyone who's Canadian and knows the breakfast sandwiches I'm talking about. So good, but so terrible for you. I would not touch one now. As high school went on, I started to gain more weight I could kind of tell I was bigger than my friends and I couldn't fit into a lot of their clothes, but I didn't really know what to do about it. I didn't even think to change how I was eating or anything. I just kind of accepted it. I don't know if anyone remembers Honesty Box on Facebook, but I can remember getting a couple of pretty mean comments. There's one that I can really remember that just said, "You need to lose weight," and it was in blue, so that meant a boy sent it to me. Oh, like, why you gotta be so mean? I tried not to let it bother me too much, but it did bother me. I wanted to be skinny like all my friends. I didn't know what I was doing wrong, and yeah, so I just kind of accepted it. After high school, I quit hockey altogether, so I really wasn't doing any exercise. And I can remember maybe like 1.5 to 2 years after high school, stepping on the scale one time at the gym and weighing upwards of 170 pounds and just being so upset about that. But again, I wasn't really doing anything to try and fix it. I was going to the gym, doing like the classes there, but yeah, still eating however I wanted. So a little after this, I actually stopped drinking. I had one too many embarrassing, just bad nights. It just wasn't fun. I felt like I was trying to be someone else every time I went out, and I'm a pretty big introvert. I would much prefer staying home. Throughout high school and afterwards, I guess I was just trying to fit in, and so yeah, I cut drinking out completely. I also moved away from home for the first time. I moved to the Cayman Islands. So this was my first time living out of home. I was buying all my own food and just living by myself. I lived in the Cayman Islands for 6 months, and over this time I lost about 40 pounds. I can honestly tell you that I wasn't trying to lose weight at this time and that I didn't even notice it was happening. So because I was buying all my own food, I was being a little bit stingy. I was pretty much buying only food for like my meals. I wasn't buying any snack, no junk food. I wasn't eating out. I can only remember getting like fast food or pizza twice the whole 6 months I was there. I went out and ate occasionally, like at nicer restaurants. I had a lot of food from like cafes and stuff too. Yeah, mostly just wasn't snacking, wasn't drinking, and I wasn't even really exercising. I was on my feet all day at work, but other than that, I think I went for a couple runs. And I think this just emphasizes how important nutrition is and how little impact exercise has. So after this was about 2013, I then moved back to Canada and was living with my family again. I also started cycling around this time. I was definitely more active, but I pretty much went back to my old ways of eating. I was a little bit more mindful about it just because I knew I didn't want to get back up to my old weight. But I used exercise as sort of a way to justify eating junk foods. Like I'd go for a long bike ride and then I'd have a pizza and ice cream. Which, I mean, maybe that works for some people, but I know over this time I did gain a little bit more weight. I'm not sure exactly how much, probably between 10 to 15 pounds. And then, so fast forward again to the start of 2017, which was when I started to get more into nutrition, started to care more about my health. I was really mindful about what I was putting into my body. I was eating low carb, no sugar, lots of vegetables, and pretty much instantly I lost about the 10 pounds I'd put on, which brings me to my current weight. I have been able to maintain that for a year now. Most of that time not counting calories, just listening to my body and using intuitive eating. Now, I know some of you might look at my before photo and think that I wasn't even that big, that I didn't need to lose weight, but I can tell you that putting aside how I look in these two photos, I feel 1000% better now than I did a few years ago. I am so much more comfortable in my skin. I can remember in high school and just after struggling to find clothes that I thought looked good on me, pulling on a pair of jeans and having like a muffin top and not wanting to go up a size, trying like so hard to squeeze into them just because I didn't want to admit that I was a bigger size. On top of that, exercise just became so much easier when I lost the weight. When I initially lost the weight, doing things like running, I just felt so much lighter, literally. And I wasn't even really exercising when I was away. I went to some of the same fitness classes that I went to a year earlier and that I thought were so hard, and they were just that much easier. I feel so much more confident in my skin than I felt a couple of years ago. It is insane to me, and I am so grateful every day that I was able to figure out what works for me, that I was able to figure out what works for my body, and that's pretty much why I'm here now, making these videos on YouTube. Because I want to share my experience and show people that eating healthy and living a healthy lifestyle doesn't have to be hard. And it doesn't have to be expensive. The biggest lesson I've learned from all this is that nutrition is the most important aspect to health, to weight loss, to fitness, to everything. Nutrition is so key. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Remember to like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.